Do you struggle with people pleasing tendencies? Do you say yes when you are supposed to say no? Do you struggle with setting boundaries? Let me tell you, all these qualities were taught. And unfortunately, it was taught by your parents. See, people pleasing don't just happen overnight. It is something that you've learned over the years and it has become a part of you. You find it difficult to say no when you are supposed to say yes, and you find it difficult to say yes when you are supposed to say no. I struggle with that a lot. In fact, if people can be given an award, I should be the first to win the top award because I struggle. I don't say no. I always say yes because my parents taught me to say yes all the time, to always make them happy, to always meet their needs. I don't say no, because it's selfish to say no. You have to say yes to make your parents happy. Let me tell you, that's why you don't have boundaries in your life. That's why you struggle. That's why it is difficult for you to say no when you're supposed to say yes, and to say yes when you're supposed to say no. For example, oh, I'm doing great. Joanna is fine. The kids are doing great. Oh, you want to speak with Joanna? Joanna, your uncle wants to speak with you. I say your uncle wants to speak with you.
I said no.
What do you mean? He's my brother. You have to speak with him.
I don't want to talk right now.
I will tell. Okay, speak with Joanna.
Hi, Uncle. I'm fine. I'm fine. Amen.
Okay, my brother, take care. Bye. What is there to talk? Just talk. Just talk. What is there to talk? You see, your parents will force you to do what you don't want to do. For example, like you just saw in that skit, making you talk to a family member. I'm not saying talking to a family member is wrong, but I'm just saying that they force you, even though you don't want to. They make it, compulsory. You must talk to this person, even though you don't feel like. There are some times that you don't feel like talking, but you have to because your parents want you to talk. You have to do it because you want to make them happy. But the reality is that they are teaching you not to create boundaries. They are teaching you to always say yes. They are teaching you not to take care of yourself, not to prioritize yourself, because the reality is that there are some times you don't want to talk. There are some times you don't feel like talking. There are some times you just want to be on your own and want to enjoy your alone time. For example, you don't have boundaries in your father's house, and it is on purpose so that they can control you and treat you anyhow. How are you?
Mom, you should have knocked.
Hold on. What do you mean knock? I should knock on the door before coming in?
Yes.
Do you pay the bills? You don't have the right to tell me to knock. This is my house. I can enter anywhere I want to enter at ease. So don't ever tell me to knock. You don't pay the water bill. You don't pay nothing. And I don't ever. I should be able to get inside and come out, get into this room as I like, and I don't have to take permission. All right? Never ever tell me to knock, because this is not your house, okay? When you have your house, you make the rules. I make the rules, not you, all right? You see, in your father's house, you don't have a privacy because they pay the bills, they put roof over your head, and you wonder what's the job of a parent in the first place, because they come bump into your room, do whatever they want, and they tell you you don't have a say, you don't have the right. As long as you're living in this house, the house that I pay the bill, you don't have a say. That is why people bump into your life, bump into your privacy. You cannot say no. You cannot say, this is where my boundary stops. This is where you're supposed to stop, because you were taught from a little one, and you spent like a whole lot of time with your parents, like, from when you were a baby to like 18, 20, for us in Africa, we spend over 25 years, with our parents, and we formed pleasing them, and you end up pleasing people. Thing is that when they raise you at home, they are forming you, and when it's time for you to leave home, you end up replicating that life in public, and you struggle with not saying no when you're supposed to say yes, and not saying yes when you're supposed to say no. Let me tell you, no is a complete sentence. You don't need to give explanation to anybody. No is a complete sentence. And until you learn how to set boundaries, you will keep on pleasing people. So it's time you learn how to say yes and go by it and say no and mean it, because you owe no one no explanation, and you owe no one no permission to say yes and say no. So break free from people-pleasing tendencies and begin to enjoy life to the fullest, because sometimes we stress ourselves out trying to please everybody, and at the end of the day, we don't have the energy to take care of ourselves. So prioritize yourself. Take care of yourself. Taking care of yourself is never selfish. You are not selfish in taking care of yourself and fulfilling your needs, because you end up meeting everybody's needs, and yet you don't meet yours, and nobody cares about you. That's why it is important that you learn to set boundaries. It is important that you stop being a people pleaser, because it doesn't pay anybody. It keeps on making you to be miserable and angry all the time. Are you a people pleaser? Make up your mind to create boundaries and start living a happy life, because people pleasing, doesn't help anyone. So let me know in the comments below, what's your take home? Were you raised that way? Because I was raised to be a people pleaser, and I please people a whole lot, and that hurt me, and that made me feel miserable. So like this video, subscribe to my channel. Let me know what's your take home for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye bye.